Hello, thanks for joining us. This is TV1 News. In this edition, Nest Fund announces full-year results. Mosby Arts presents musical show and PNG duo in Storm lineup. A St. John ambulance emergency crew was attacked by drunk thugs at Kaugere settlement in NCD early this morning. The incident happened at around 3 when the crew responded to an emergency call near the Kaugere basketball area. It was reported that 2 males who appeared to be heavily intoxicated confronted the emergency crew. One of the males was seen trashing large metal poles at the officers, preventing them from proceeding to the emergency site. Whilst police had responded and apprehended the 2 suspects, the incident left St. John staff emotionally shaken by such act of violence. This incident has prompted the chair of St. John, Dame Jean Kekedo, to ask the government to make amendments to the St. John Act of 1976 to make it illegal to obstruct or hinder ambulance officers performing their duties. A state investigation team has charged 30 individuals for breaching their visa and work permits in logging camps and business houses in New Ireland Province. Within a span of 3 days, the team collected 1 million Kinah in fines. New Ireland Acting Provincial Administrator and Chairman of the Provincial Forest Enforcement Unit, Moses Taram, said the state team found that up to 80% of the foreign workers did not comply with provisions of their work permits, while others did not have a customs clearance to work in the country. The investigation team comprises of officers from the Immigration, Labour and Police. 30 workers from the logging camps were rounded up and taken to Namatanai, where they were fully processed and fined for various breaches to their entry visas and engagements that were contrary to their work permits. He said the operation clearly shows that many foreigners at the logging sites entered the province illegally through foreign-bound vessels, and others are on jobs that do not match descriptions in their work permits. Taram said the state investigation team also found that vehicles being run at the logging sites are without customs clearance, which means they were shipped directly to the logging sites without being declared to customs authorities. Logging companies have been on bad books of the government relating to their extension into customary lands and the bitter clashes with landowners who object to logging operations without their consent. National Superannuation Fund has announced a net asset value of 5.9 billion Kinah and a net profit of 363 million Kinah for the year 2021. Following these results, the Nest Fund Board approved an interest crediting rate of 6.5%. which will be credited to members' accounts. Chairman Charles V. said the fund had demonstrated a strong resilience under current economic circumstances to attain positive results. In the coming days, over 363 million Kinah will be allocated into 623,000 Nest Fund members' account, following the Superannuation's fund net profit of 363 million Kinah for the year 2021. Nest Fund Chairman Charles V. said the positive results reflect its strong resilience under current economic circumstances to attain positive results, including above budget performance in contributions, cash income and investments, as well as effective cost management on operating expense.
We've also continued to achieve continuous returns above CPI over a rolling 5-year period, with an average of 5.7 compared to CPI average of 4.7 over the same period. Additionally, over the last 5 years, we've also paid out 2.3 billion Kinah in superannuation entitlements to our members.
He added that this year, the Superannual Fund will continue seeking opportunities to grow membership and new investments.
This year, we will continue to focus on enhancing our member services while actively seeking opportunities to grow memberships and new investments. This includes providing more value to our membership at the same time growing their retirement savings.
He has also cautioned the government on the proposed levy on BSP to be effective this year, adding that the fund's position is for the government to rescind this decision as it is not in the best interest of NES Fund members. Bulolo MP and Deputy Prime Minister Sam Basil stressed that the Morobe provincial government must communicate with the 9 open MPs. Basil raised this concern during the Morobe budget debate at Tutumang House on Wednesday, 9th of March. After Morobe Governor Ginson Saunu presented the province's 595 million Kinah budget on Wednesday, the floor was opened for debate. Bulolo MP Sam Basil was one of the 2 open MPs present at the Tutumang House. The other was Nawayab MP Kennedy Wenge. Basil expressed concern that the 2022 budget was passed almost at the end of the first quarter and without the knowledge of the other open members. He further queried the existence of a joint provincial budget committee, saying for the past 5 years, the 9 open members of Morobe have never been engaged in financial discussions concerning the province.
For example, Gas and Sorulu program, Mipla district can help him because the more line Mipla district to you sponsor him. For example, you put him 10 million. This programs, Mipla district, he can put him, Milo Pololo, we can put him 500,000. Mipla can put him 5 million, can hold a district, now you put him 5 million. This program was sponsoring more students, you go, Mipla school and Mipla and duplicate him program. It only takes the governor to sit down with the Mipla open member now. Mipla agree to share him this post.
Basil also reminded the governor that during the 2017 election campaign, he promised to work together with the districts and share resources, a promise that is yet to be fulfilled.
You may talk about making this brain come up, you may talk about come up, you may strong more business, you may lay city, this is more PMV pass, give him more Morobe line, you may run him so that you may pull him this business completely, rousing the little handball country, you may atap na. Give him a line, you will Morobe running this plane or come up. Kiss him ground, give him back a line, you mean this plan is something, come up.
Basil said after the 2022 elections, whoever occupies the governor's seat will be the kingpin of Morobe Province and will have the responsibility of uniting and collaborating with the 9 districts. Working in isolation will only lead to the wastage of resources, especially funding. After a long delay, the first ever payment of 19.7 million Kinah was paid to the upstream PNG LNG landowners of Petroleum Development License 7 in Hela Province this week. And another 14 million Kinah in project component was also delivered for project infrastructure through the Mineral Resources Development Company.
A total payment of 33.7 million Kinah was paid to landowners of Heights 4 PDL 7 in Hela Province, with 19.7 million Kinah in cash payment was paid into over 200 bank accounts, and another 14 million Kinah in project component was delivered through the MRDC earmarked for project infrastructure.
First, royalties go all the oil field, long country. Kutubu or Gobi or Moran or Heights or Chua or PDL1 and first royalty. No one won't collect some royalty yet. Total middle Karimgam long dividing and is about 49 million. Royalty na equity one. 49 million. 49 million.
Sure. The PDL-7 was one of a series of upstream PDLs that had been problematic with ongoing court cases that had affected landowner identification clan vetting. Hence, benefits had accrued in trust accounts since first LNG exports in 2014. Hela Governor Philip Undialu commended PDL-7 landowners for working together with the government and MRDC to finally get their payment.
Hela people need to fight on ground, money, resource, kind of so what. For the sake of PNG LNG project, they sacrifice a lot, and they deserve what they deserve to get. I'm also starting to double me respecting all this leadership. Now I think good time you may come sit down, pay respect more now. You may come sit down when me have mass.
He commended PDL-7 leaders and educated people for ensuring that landowners were paid their dues. Prime Minister James Marape has appealed to PDL-1, PDL-8, PDL-9 and all others that are in dispute to solve their in-house matters before they can be paid. Carol Kidu Jr., TV1 News.
This is TV1 News. More stories after the break. Welcome back. More than 700 students graduated from the Divine Word University in Madang from various programs with certificates, diplomas, degrees and masters on Friday. Among those who graduated was Correctional Service Commissioner Stephen Pukanis and Assistant Commissioner of Police for NCD and Central Anthony Wagambi Jr. Divine Word University hosted its 4th-year graduation ceremony on Friday, 11th of March at its Madang campus. Among those who graduated was Correctional Service Commissioner Stephen Pukanis, who graduated with Masters in Public Administration, and Assistant Commissioner of Police for NCD and Central Anthony Wagambi Jr., who attained a bachelor's degree in management. Police Officer Constable Xavier Bowie, a full-time student, also graduated with a Bachelor in Business Management. Divine Word University President Professor Father Philip Gibbs, while speaking at the ceremony, congratulated the graduates. He said Divine Word University was an authentic model for national unity in Papua New Guinea because of its Christian philosophy. Students were also recognized with special awards in different categories, from leadership roles to top academic performances. Radio journalist Priscilla Waikaidi, a full-time student who graduated with a bachelor degree in communications arts journalism, received a silver medal for scoring the highest GPA of 4.38. 3 other students also received silver medals, while 4 others received bronze medals. Borah Village in Central Province received its newly built multi-purpose community hall from Gas Resources, PNG LNG Plant and Mineral Resources Development Company yesterday. The 2-story building was built under GRPNG LNG GPL's Community Infrastructure Trust Fund at a cost of 2.8 million Kinah, replacing the old one built 30 years ago.
The 2-story building comprises of 2 large meeting rooms, 4 offices, a kitchen and restroom facilities. MRDC's Managing Director and CEO, Agustin Mano, commended the GRPNG LNGPL board for its efforts in continuing to deliver community-impacted projects in the project area. He said since 2018, the board had delivered a lot of community projects through its CITF in education, health, transport and agriculture sectors respectively. More than 17.2 million Kinah has been spent to date delivering education and health infrastructure, trucks, boats, community hall, among others, to the villages of Borah, Papa, Rarea and Porabada. Mano commended Chairlady Ulato Ave for her strong leadership at the board level in collaborating with MRDC and community leaders to deliver quality social development projects in the planned site villages. He urged the Borah people to use the facility for education, church and other communal purposes. He said if they take care and look after it, it can last them for a long time. Frida Kinah, TVWAN News.
The Mosby Arts Theatre presents a musical show called Bottoms Up, an adaptation of a 2017 musical comedy production. This show is set in the 1595 in an era where two brothers struggle to find success in the theatrical world, famed by the widely popular William Shakespeare.
The Mosby Arts Theatre is a club of volunteers that have been staging many a show and promoting the performing arts for over 100 years, and for the last 47 years at this theatre alone. For a little while due to COVID, Matt has stepped out of the stage lights, awaiting the moment when another great production is brought to life. That time is now with the musical comedy Bottoms Up, set in the Renaissance England era of the 1500s, of two lowly brothers struggling to make their mark in the world of theatre, but are outshined by the ever-popular Shakespeare. Directors Natalie Piddick and Jacob Ilave gave TV1 an insight on how the program has been doing for the past 2 weeks.
We've just been extremely blessed to have so many people come alongside us and allow us to put up a show, especially after being on a 2-year break due to COVID.
The show was sponsored generously in cash and kind by various business houses and institutions, and just recently the Sir Brian Bell Foundation donated new stage curtains for the theatre after so many years and countless shows. Having overcome the pandemic and getting the go-ahead from the control center, the cast and crew, comprising of volunteers, went head-on with rehearsals for the love of theatre and displayed an amazing show that has become the talk of the town.
It's actually an adaptation of a fairly new musical that came out in the United States back in 2017 called Something Rotten. We've adapted it a bit, put in some cool songs and stuff that we think are fun, as well as just made it a little bit more relevant to the PNG context, because sometimes having a different audience, it'll really help if you just do those small things to make it a bit more relevant to them. It's a comedy through and through, so there's lots of laughter, lots of funny scenes. I mean, the entire experience we just think is something unique that we're able to offer.
The show really brings an entire new experience to everyone, and there is nothing quite like coming to the theatre, as a whole other world awakens your inner characters in their truest forms. Carol Kidu Jr., TV1 News.
And that ends the news segment. Sports is next. Stay with us. Welcome back. Melbourne Storm PNG duo Justin Olam and new recruit Xavier Coates are ready to unleash a new look left edge centre wing combination tonight when they take on the West Tigers. Since moving south from Brisbane during the off-season, Coates is looking forward to celebrate his 21st birthday, playing his first game in Storm colours.
By his own admission, PNG international Xavier Coates is something of a mild-mannered character, so playing outside renowned fellow countryman and hitman Justin Olam is the ideal scenario for the Storm's new left-winger tonight when they line up against the West Tigers. After launching his career at the Broncos with 17 tries in 32 games since debuting as an 18-year-old in 2019, Coates has made the move south to join fellow PNG Kumul Olam in a star-studded Storm backline.
All the boys inside me are making it so easy for me. Have Means there, Kenny, Juzzy, all those boys, Cam when he's in there training. They're making it so much easier for me out on that wing, and I'm learning a lot and they're helping me out heaps.
From their cultural background, Coates said the first session with Sazi was too easy and just clicked straight away.
I think straight away the first session we did, we sort of clicked pretty easily, just from our sort of cultural background. But when I sort of joined, I was still a bit raw with some certain aspects of the game, and seeing Juzzy, Centre of the Year last year, and seeing what he's done throughout his career so far, he's helped me out a lot just sort of with my positioning, like with my defense and everything. That's something I really wanted to work on, was my defense, and that sort of left edge has helped me a lot with that so far. So I'm really looking forward to bringing that into the games coming up.
Making coach Tom debut even more memorable is the fact that he turns 21 on game day, and his family will be on hand at the Combank Stadium to watch him play.
Yeah, so my family's coming down, so they're on the Gold Coast, and they're going to make the trip down to support me for my club debut. So they'll be there supporting the boys, and for my birthday as well. So I can't wait to see my family there.
Terry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
The PNG men's and women's sevens rugby teams have missed out on a chance to qualify for the 2022 Commonwealth Games after Oceania Rugby cancelled the qualification tournament being planned for April. The regional body cancelled the qualifiers due to logistical challenges presented by the pandemic.
While the cancellation of the Oceania qualifiers was inevitable, PNG RU CEO Salosi Ndruma said a decision was then made to use the rankings from the 2020-21 HSBC Men's and Women's Sevens Series Championship to determine qualification for the 2022 Commonwealth Games and Rugby World Cup Sevens. The decision will see Tonga join Australia, Samoa, Fiji and New Zealand in the men's event, and Fiji will join Australia and New Zealand in the women's event.
We've missed out because Tonga ranked above us in that last Oceania Championship. So Tonga will now take our place for the men. For the women, Fiji, as you know, they were the Olympic finalists. They also had to qualify, so because of their ranking above us, they've taken the women's last spot from Oceania. So for the qualifiers, it's Fiji for the women's and Tonga for the men's.
Ndruma said the next event to look forward to is the Challenger Series, which is a new and exciting international rugby sevens competition launched in 2020 to boost rugby sevens development across the globe.
The next tournament will be the Challenger Series. It's a World Rugby event that's been planned or scheduled to be held in Chile, and it'll be in August 20 and the 21st. So those are the next program that both our sevens teams will prepare for.
The inaugural Men's Challenger Series was held in 2020 and featured teams from Brazil, Chile, Germany, Hong Kong, Italy, Jamaica, Japan, PNG, Portugal, Tonga, Uganda, Uruguay and Zimbabwe. Terry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
The Central Provincial Government franchise Central Dabaris have finalized 30 of their men's squad for the 2022 Digital Cup season. The 30 men's squad was finalized after the completion of the Scale Rise Agarobe Nines tournament last week.
And get them into some sort of high-performance
DRL board this week, including the head coach and coaching staff. Central Dabaris Executive Director Hubert Warupi said the board is hopeful that the squad meet the expectations of the province's flagship in this year's PNG NRL competition and achieve successful outcomes.
Is really grateful for that sort of vision, and it's allowing us to connect with our rural communities, identify players at that bottom level. And of course it would not be possible without the support of corporate partners. Goodman Fielder International, through their brand Scale Rise, has seen the vision of Governor Agarobe.
And that ends the news tonight. Remember to apply the following simple measures to prevent transmission of the coronavirus. Regularly wash your hands with soap and water. Cough or sneeze into your elbow, and exercise social distancing. If you are feeling sick, please stay at home. You can also call the COVID-19 hotline number for more information or assistance. Pleasant viewing. Bye for now.